Bradford City continue their 2024-25 league campaign with a home clash against Scott Lindsay's MK Dons, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season and what my starting level would be for this match if I was Graham Alexander. Now my team Bradford City, we currently sit 5th in the Sky Bet League 2 table. After 31 matches we've got 15 wins, 9 draws and 7 defeats. We've got a plus 12 goal difference and 54 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a 2-1 defeat away to Birmingham City on Tuesday night. A really good performance of a lot of grit, determination, but unfortunately their 40, 50, 200 million pound squad was far too much for us to get past on Tuesday night, and they probably did just about deserve it, but we put in a real performance to be proud of, and a lot of Birmingham fans were saying that was the toughest game at St Andrews they've had so far this season. We also had a 0-0 draw away at Newport County, absolutely robbed in this game. We scored a legitimate goal which was deemed offside for no apparent reason. Jack Shepherd was sent off for no apparent reason. Obviously he's going to miss this game with that suspension, which is very frustrating because he has been one of the best centre-halves in the league over the last couple of months. So yeah, he's going to be a big miss for us in this one. We also had a 1-0 win at home to Accrington Stanley. Alex Patterson scoring an absolute worldie in that game, and it was just about getting the job done. In all honesty, we've had quite a lot of them recently, and the one before that was a 1-0 win at home to Harrogate Town, where we had more chances, more possession, and Anthony Sarswick's goal in the second minute was enough to wrap up all 3 points for Bradford City. And then just before that one, we had a 1-0 win away at Rotherham United in the EFL Trophy. Richie Small scoring a penalty. We should have had 2 other penalties though in that game before that one was even given, but we've beaten a fair few League One sides so far this season. Rotherham, Mansfield, Stockport, went toe-to-toe for the large part with Birmingham as well. If we get promoted this season, I think we'll do very well next season in League 2. I'm not sure how we could get promoted and end up back in League 2, but probably stranger things have happened. This is Bradford City that we are talking about. Let's compare our opponents then on Saturday. They sit down in 16th in the Sky Bet League 2 table. Somebody predicted them to comfortably win the League 2 title, and then when they appointed Scott Lindsay when they were like 15 points away from first, still backed them to go on and win the title. They're closer to relegation than they are the title. Anyway, after 31 games, they've got 11 wins at 6 draws and 14 defeats, leaving them on a 0 goal difference and 39 points. Their last couple of matches then have been a 1-1 draw away to Tranmere Rovers. A really strange game, to be fair. Tranmere were probably the better side, had more of the ball, which is crazy to say. Tranmere had more possession than MK Dons. They had more chances as well, and thankfully for Tranmere's sake, they got their goal through Luke Norris from the penalty spot. But again, a match where MK Dons just need to be winning them type of games if you want to have any chance of promotion this season. They also had a 2-1 defeat away to Barrow. Again, MK Dons have dominated the ball, 73% possession, just 8 shots though compared to Barrow's 13, just 2 on target compared it to Barrow's 5, and they're defending as well for the Barrow goals. It's just so poor. It's Sunday League, like they're really bad defensively at MK Dons. And they also had a 1-0 defeat at home to Bromley, despite the Bromley striker Michael Cheek missing a penalty in that one. It was well saved by the MK Dons goalkeeper. They still managed to pick up all 3 points in that one, and another home defeat for MK Dons. Again, 71% of the ball, just 2 shots on target in that one. And obviously we go back to the start of the season, first game of the season, we actually did beat MK Dons 2-1, but their match before that was a 2-1 defeat away to Doncaster Rovers. Again, dominated possession, but just didn't really create many chances. Doncaster had 37% of the ball, had 16 shots, 7 on target. MK Dons had 63% of the ball, just 9 shots, 4 on target. That simply is not good enough. And then the match just before that one, then if I can get the fixtures to load quick enough, that would be nice, wouldn't it? We go all the way back to a 2-1 win at home to Harrogate Town, where Harrogate equalised in the 92nd minute and Alex Gilby went up the other end and scored in the 93rd minute. But again, MK Dons had 56% possession, 10 shots, just 3 on target. Harrogate 44% possession, they had 22 shots in the game. MK Dons are really there for the taking. With how good our home form has been so far this season, I think this has got to be a 2-0 Bradford City win. I'm getting my score prediction in nice and early. And now we can all take a minute to breathe. But if you are enjoying today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. I know it's a little bit of a different format for today's match preview, uploaded a day later as well. So let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section down below. But 60 likes, as always, would be massively appreciated. In terms of my team then for this game, as you can see next to me now on screen, we've got Sam Walker in goal. A back three of Aidan Baldwin, Paul Huntington and Romney Critchlow, with Callum Johnson and Teo Adaramola as the wing-backs, Richie Smallwood and Alex Patterson as the holding midfielders, with Anthony Sarsfick and Bobby Poynton as the two attacking midfielders, and Michael Mellon leading the line. Let's go through the team in full then. So Sam Walker, for me, I feel like he's probably going to start every game between now and the end of the season. I feel like he'll be disappointed with both goals on Tuesday, especially the first one. He needs to be doing much better with that free kick, but I thought on the whole did make some pretty decent saves on Tuesday, so I'm not going to criticise him too much. But again, there are goals where I think a top-class goalkeeper wouldn't concede them, in all honesty, because I think the first one they'd probably catch the free kick, the second one the header's not really in the corner, maybe they get down a bit easier. Maybe I'm being a little bit too critical. You have to let me know what you think down below. In terms of the back three then, right centre back Aidan Baldwin against Newport, I thought he was one of his best performances in a Bradford City shirt. On Tuesday though, against Birmingham, I thought he really struggled with the game, at times massively out of position. His passing accuracy, but in particular his headers, he'd be trying to head it back into midfield, and every single time it was going straight to a Birmingham player. It was really frustrating. But I'm not going to think, oh, well, a player should be dropped for playing poorly against Birmingham, because the boys gave it a real shift on Tuesday, so I'm giving them a bit of leeway for that one, and hopefully Baldwin can perform in this one. In the middle, I would go with Paul Huntington. I'm not sure it's necessarily a game where we're going to need Huntington, if that makes sense. I would have much rather had Jack Shepherd, similar to the Birmingham game, where you're playing against a team who are going to be very expansive. They've not really got a physical striker, so Huntington isn't really needed from that point of view. But with Shepherd being suspended, I'd rather have Huntington in the middle a million times more than Neil Burns. So he would start for me. His experience, maybe communication, could be quite important to the two wider centre-backs. And obviously, the other side of Huntington, I would go with Romney Critchlow. Again, with Shepherd being suspended, I thought Critchlow had a pretty solid game on Tuesday night on the whole, so I'd keep him in at left centre-back. At right wing-back, I have brought in Callum Johnson, just with Brad Halliday playing a lot of football recently. I don't think it's necessarily down to Halliday playing poorly, because I think he's done a job, but I'd like to see Callum Johnson get a start. We've not seen him start a match for quite a while, so just to rotate things, keep players fresh, because wing-back is one of the positions where you're going to get the biggest output in terms of distance travelled, high-intensity sprints, all that sort of stuff. So I bring Callum Johnson in for this game just to freshen things up, and maybe you bring Halliday back in on Tuesday away at Bromley. Richie Smallwood obviously starts in the midfield. He's going to start every game under Graham Alexander, probably going to play every minute, and I thought on the whole I had a pretty solid game on Tuesday. There were times where he putting in some good tackles. Yes, there were other times where the Birmingham midfielders, who were worth millions of pounds, were getting past him pretty easily, but I thought on the whole he had a really good performance on Tuesday, so I'd definitely stick with him in the side alongside Alex Patterson, who I thought on Tuesday showed some real good moments in the game, and I feel like at home so far this season he's certainly put on better performances than away from home, so you definitely would start him in that role. And I know it was a big output for him on Tuesday, but I feel like with the rest that he's had, I'd start him for this one. Maybe then you'd bench him potentially for Tuesday, but I guess I'll have to wait and see. It's up to really the management and the sports scientists to decide all that sort of stuff. But if it's a home game, Alex Patterson starts, because he always performs at home. And at left wing back, I would go with Teo Adaramola. Obviously played around 85 minutes, I think, against Newport on his full Bradford City debut, and I thought did pretty well in that one. Obviously Tyreek Wright was rested because we knew he was going to be needed for the Birmingham game, and then obviously now with them both being available for this one, Tyreek Wright had a massive outload on Tuesday, again playing in that wing back position, so just to freshen things up. And I thought Wright was pretty poor on Tuesday, gave away that needless free kick, and at times was constantly out of position. Going forward, I think his link-up play with Poynton was pretty good, but I think when all our left wing backs are available, Lewis Richards is still the starting one for me. Hopefully he'll be back in the next couple of weeks. In terms of the two number 10s then, like I mentioned, firstly Anthony Sarsfick. I feel like on Tuesday, first half, he struggled a little bit, but so did the entire front three. They looked a little bit nervous and lacked the confidence to really drive forward. But second half, I felt like he really came alive, puts in a brilliant ball for Bobby Poynton for our goal, and at times really did show that class of what Anthony Sarsfick is as a player, and should be at least a League One level player. I don't know why he spent the majority of his career playing in League Two, but it's clearly a bonus for Bradford City, and I think once again he should start in this one. But I'll be surprised if Tommy Lee doesn't get the nod. Alexander seems to be a big fan of him, obviously against his former club as well. And as the other number 10, like I mentioned, Bobby Poynton, As I just mentioned previously about Sarcevic, I thought first half really did struggle in the game, and even second half there was a few wayward crosses or shots that weren't quite doing much, but he's got the goal at the end of the day, so you're always going to talk about that rather than his performance. And what a moment that it was, even though it was a 2-3 yard tap-in. How many times this season have we put crosses into the box that have just been comfortably cleared by the opposition defence? So big credit to Pointon for finally making them runs. We need to see more players now doing that, getting in between the centre half and the goalkeeper and just hoping that somebody can find that area, and a brilliant ball in from Anthony Sarcevic. But Pointon's been a class above so far this season. He's one of our own, so I'll definitely start him again in this one. And as my striker, Michael Mellon, it sounds like Callum Kavanagh will still be a doubt for this one. He's picked up a little bit of a calf problem, so I would start Michael Mellon once more. I thought Jamie Walker, again, really struggled first half, but second half had some nice touches at times, and you can see the passion that he shows when Bradford City do score. He still clearly wants to be here. He wants to be a part of Bradford City, and obviously with no more EFL Trophy campaign games this season, maybe his minutes going to be a little bit more limited, but I think he's certainly proved enough in the Rotherham and Birmingham game to at least be on the bench in a lot of these matches. And like I mentioned about Michael Mellon there, I thought against Newport led the line really well for his full first Bradford City debut. Obviously had to be very patient and wait quite a while for it, but I think on the whole did very well. Let's see what we can do now with 11 men for 90 minutes, and yeah, Michael Mellon for me should lead the line again for Bradford City. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Apologies about the shaky camera. That's obviously not ideal, but holding it up for 12 minutes at the time of recording is obviously not the most ideal of things. Let me know your thoughts on today's match preview as always, and hopefully all being well, they'll be back to normal on Monday.